this is Reverend Don Lewis coming to you from beautiful Florida. And tonight our question comes to us from Mark Wynot. And Mark tells us that recently his criminology class was discussing a defense used by some lawyers who imply that serial killers or serial rapists and other such people are less able to resist impulses to violence than other people. And he goes on to say that he knows, for example, that some people have a greater sex drive than others, and his question is, why would a soul choose to be born with a stronger than average drive to do things that are socially disapproved of, such as serial killing, or other less objectionable things that still are not considered desirable? And my answer to this is that this is the nature of karmic attachment. As the soul goes through its many existences, it is shaped by them, and it also, particularly with traumatic experiences and other experiences that are very important in the history of the soul, will frequently form a karmic attachment to it, which will draw it back to certain scenarios, certain actions, certain situations again and again and again, until it has learned the lessons that those things hold for it, at which point that karmic attachment is released. And until that happens, it will be drawn back sometimes into very destructive scenarios because it has not yet learned the lesson. And so that would be why some souls are born, not exactly by choice, but because of their attachments drawing them to it, with certain situations that are bad or certain urges that are bad that may be harder for them to overcome. But I do believe it's always possible to overcome, always possible to heal, and always possible to release that attachment if you work at it and if you look for it. And I certainly would not consider this an excuse for bad behavior, but I do think it's part of the cause. And when we work with karma, when we work with karmic disentanglement, a lot of what we're doing is we're looking for those attachments and finding ways to heal them and release them. And that's a very important part of spiritual work, in my opinion. So I hope that answers your question and gives you something to think about, and until next time, may you blessed be. Today's vlog is brought to us by the term karma.
Karma, divine justice or balance. Karma tells us that for every action there's a reaction. A good action will beget good, a bad action will beget bad. Everything we do comes back to us in time, sometimes in this life, sometimes in another. But all will eventually return. To satisfy karma, one must learn the lesson of the action, not merely experience it, and one will re-experience the event as many times as necessary to learn the lesson.